And the next item of business is an urgent question, and I call Douglas Ross.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I remind the Chamber of my register of interest with respect to the Scottish FA and FIFA? And I am delighted and thrilled to ask the Scottish Government how it will recognise the Scottish men's national team qualifying for the World Cup finals for the first time since 1998.
Cabinet Secretary Neil Gray.
Officer, can I thank you and Douglas Ross for facilitating this opportunity to have Parliament come together to celebrate a momentous night, a momentous achievement, one that has been a long time coming. I was 12 years old when Scotland last qualified for a World Cup, and my children, so many colleagues with family members across this Parliament, will not have witnessed Scotland's men's team being at a World Cup. So it is a remarkable achievement, and one that we must celebrate. I know that colleagues who were present last night, Ms Todd was jumping in the stands. I know that I was jumping about my living room with my son. Others will have been in pubs or have been at the game. The First Minister was able to pass on his congratulations in person to the Chief Executive, Ian Maxwell, and the President of the SFA, Mike Mulroney. And I expect the First Minister will also be writing to Steve Clarke and to Andy Robertson for a reception at Bute House to ensure that this is properly marked.
Douglas Ross.
Well, that is no less than they deserve. I think it's important to say, Presiding Officer, when you apply for a question like this, you have to explain why it's topical and urgent. And I simply put a note that this Parliament has never had the opportunity to debate Scotland at the World Cup finals, because since devolution we'd never got to a World Cup final. And that all changed after 98 incredible minutes last night. Breathtaking, nerve-wracking and emotional. But Steve Clarke and his squad guaranteed not just their place at the World Cup finals next year, but also the place in the hearts of every Tartan Army fan, ending that 27-year wait for Scotland to return to the greatest sporting event in the world. The match was bookended by outstanding goals, an overhead kick from Scott McTominay, where he defied gravity to fire the ball into the back of the net after 3 minutes, and then in the 98th minute, Kenny McLean scoring from his own half with the final kick of the game to send Hampden into euphoria and Scotland into the World Cup finals. I'm grateful to hear what the First Minister is doing in terms of inviting the squad to Bute House. But I wonder, can I ask the Cabinet Secretary how we further celebrate these heroes on the pitch and off the pitch, but also how we can capture all this enthusiasm and filter it down into grassroots football to ensure that we develop the next generation of talented footballers to carry on this great tradition and guarantee that everyone, no matter their background, can get involved in the beautiful game.
Cabinet Secretary.
Douglas Ross is absolutely right. The first point that he made there around the first time in devolution that we have seen the Scotland's men's team qualify for World Cup. The Sports Minister commented to me earlier that she's the first Scottish Sports Minister to see Scotland's men's team qualify in person, which is a remarkable thing to consider given the longevity of this place. In terms of the back and forth of the game last night, it was an emotional rollercoaster for all of us. There was something on social media amongst the reams of incredible output that have come from the Scotland men's team, from the BBC, from various other outlets, that showed the seesaw nature of 3-minute Scotland qualifying, 56-minute Denmark qualifying, the back and forth of the game, just encapsulated what it is to be a Tartan Army supporter and what we have lived through over the last 28 years waiting for this moment. I have no doubt, and I know that we are considering what further steps we can take in order to mark this and to build on it for grassroots sport. Like him, I have an involvement that I must declare as a volunteer youth coach. I will be at my son's football club this evening, and I have no doubt that the enthusiasm from young boys and girls seeing their sports teams progressing so well is one that will see people inspired to take up the sport, to continue their endeavours, to become the next Andy Robertson, Scott McTominays, Kenny McLeans, that did so well last night in raising their game and performing for their nation and delivering something so momentous.
Supplementary, Douglas Ross.
I'll be honest, I submitted this question less interested in the answers from the government, but more to give an opportunity for all the fans to speak about their highlights from last night, and there were so many. But the Minister is absolutely right to highlight the Tartan Army, because no Scotland, no party. That rang out at Hampden and across Scotland last night. We heard it loud and clear, because while the manager and the players deserve all the credit for doing the job on the pitch, making outstanding saves, scoring incredible goals to qualify as winners of Group C for the World Cup finals, they have been supported every step of the way by the Tartan Army. The Tartan Army who've kicked every ball and headed every pass with the players. Scotland fans have experienced the lowest of the lows and last night the highest of the highs. And I am in no doubt that World Cup 2026 will be the better because the Tartan Army and the Scottish team are there. Many lucky fans will get to go to the USA, Canada and Mexico, but many will remain here at home. So can I ask the Cabinet Secretary what work the Scottish Government will do to consider flexibility around licensing laws to ensure that those who remain here back in Scotland can enjoy the atmosphere of the World Cup, cheering on the team, no matter the time of the kick-offs and the matches, and also to give a much-needed boost to our pubs here in Scotland, who will also do very well out of this tournament.
Cabinet Secretary.
I had some colleagues whispering, and what about a recess for this place? In all seriousness, Douglas North is absolutely right. We need to, obviously, today's a day for celebration, and one where we rightly mark the incredible achievements of Steve Clarke, Andy Robertson, his team, and all of those that have gone into making today happen, and also the remarkable support that's provided by the Tartan Army. Everywhere they go, they make those local communities better. They raise funds, they provide funds to those local communities wherever they travel to. It is an incredible spirit that they take, that people in Germany were able to see in evidence last summer. And I know they will do the same in doing our nation proud as they go to support Scotland wherever we go, within Mexico, Canada or the United States. We will obviously give consideration to the wider points that he's raised around what can be done domestically to support those that are here and supporting the Tartan Army, and making sure that we make the absolute most of this remarkable opportunity.
Thank you. I would advise members, obviously, there's quite a bit of interest, and I have allowed a bit of latitude because I'm sure everybody wishes to relive the match in all its splendour, but I will be seeking to take as many individual backbenchers as I can, but you will need to be brief, and the Cabinet Secretary will need to be brief in replying. I call Keith Brown to be followed by Neil Bibby.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. As well as the Scottish Government being asked what they can do to celebrate this, I think it's incumbent upon the Parliament to look at this as well. And I don't know whether the Cabinet Secretary is aware of my motion, which is down for debate, which has already attracted cross-party support, although not yet the support of Douglas Ross. And I look forward to him signing it as well. And that will give the whole Parliament the chance to discuss and celebrate this. And I think we should also mention Kieran Tierney's goal, which is a fantastic goal, which has not been mentioned. My main point, though, is I made an offer to Mike Mulroney, the SFA chairman, some time ago that the oldest football in the world, which is currently housed at the Smith Art Gallery Museum in Stirling, discovered in the roof well of Mary Queen of Scots' bedchamber, could be taken to an international competition. It was taken to the World Cup in Hamburg previously. I wonder if you would consider this, and it just underlines the point, of course, that football in its present guise started in Scotland.
Cabinet Secretary.
Absolutely. I think Keith Brown makes two very strong points. First of all, the importance of Parliament coming together, which I think we have started today, but acceptance of his motion gives us a further opportunity to debate and celebrate this remarkable achievement, and also Scotland's contribution to footballing history. My constituency hosted the first penalty ever to be taken, and Keith Brown has set out around the world's oldest football. Making sure that as Scotland is coming, we make sure that we are making our presence felt internationally around the role that we have played in the development of football across the world.
I call Neil Bibby. I call Neil Bibby to be followed by Brian Whittle.
I will be brief, Presiding Officer, because I was losing my voice last night. I join other members in not just congratulating Steve Clarke and his coaching staff, Andy Robertson and all the players on their historic achievement, but thanking them. Thanking them for the history they have made and the memories they will make for us next year. This achievement could act as a huge catalyst for participation in our national game. Can I ask the Scottish Government what engagement they're going to have with consulates and the UK Government to support as many as the Tartan Army as possible to attend the Games next year, because, as has been said, if there's no Scotland, there is no party. And does the Cabinet Secretary also agree with these benches that the least we can do is to recognise the achievements of Steve Clarke by making it Sir Steve Clarke and awarding him a knighthood for his services to football and to the country?
Cabinet Secretary.
We'll know on that latter point that that is beyond my responsibilities, but I think the recognition Steve Clarke deserves is significant. He has unquestionably now become our most successful international men's manager. He has delivered a World Cup, 2 European Championship qualifications. His success rate as the longest-serving international men's manager is remarkable, and so I think he does deserve due recognition, and whatever that comes as, then we should celebrate it. And of course, there is active consideration already as to how we can support and facilitate the maximum possible attendance, but also, as an answer to Douglas Ross's question and Keith Brown's question, how we can ensure domestically we are able to do so as well. And I'll be happy to work with not just our domestic consulates, but also with the UK Government on doing just that.
I call Brian Whittle to be followed by Willie Rennie.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I watched the football last night in the company of Kenny Gibson, Liam MacArthur and Stuart McMillan. And who, Presiding Officer, would have guessed that beneath that calm, suave, sophisticated air that Kenny Gibson exudes beats the heart of an absolute maniac. But what that did show last night, the way in which we celebrated that win, shows that sport is such a huge unifier and it can engage a nation. So can I ask the Cabinet Secretary, how will he ensure that there is a full legacy from this World Cup and that there is a positive influence on participation and overall health?
Cabinet Secretary.
Brian Whittle will know, given our history, his more successful than mine, that I absolutely understand the power of sport to change lives, to bring people together, and that is similarly in evidence from our Sports Minister, Marie Todd. We must make sure that the legacy of next summer, both the Commonwealth Games and the Men's World Cup, ensures that we have a lasting legacy that increases participation, that we maximise the commercial and economic and tourism opportunities that can come as a result of this, and that we continue to show ourselves in the incredible light that the Tartan Army always does in international tournaments and international games, and see ourselves in the best possible light internationally. And I'm more than happy to continue to work on a cross-party basis to do so.
And I call Willie Rennie.
I think we should win football matches more often, because I've never seen the Chamber so united. People are even agreeing with Douglas Ross. That's how extreme it is. But Alex Cole-Hamilton wants to have a party, so I again want to agree with Douglas Ross about the licensing arrangements and about having big parties with huge screens in different parts of the country, so that those who can't get across the Atlantic can enjoy it back here. Is that something he will seriously consider?
Cabinet Secretary.
Well, of course. We'll need to work with our local authority partners, our Scottish Football Association partners, and look at what we can do to make sure we're maximising the ability of people to engage with what is going to be a remarkable sporting summer to come next year, with the Commonwealth Games, the incredible endeavours of our Scotland men's team getting to the World Cup, and ensure that we do have some kind of fan zone, fans facility, so that people can hopefully celebrate Scotland bringing the trophy home.
And on that happy note, Cabinet Secretary, I will have to bring the urgent question to a close, because I do need to protect the rest of the afternoon's business. Apologies to those members I was unable to call, and there will be a short pause before we move on to the next item of business. Thank you.